I had it all ready to post, and then I didn't. And the relief I felt afterward is what this whole thing is about. It was nothing dramatic. Something good had happened, a small, genuinely good thing in my life. And I'd done what you do. I'd gotten it ready to share, written the little bit of words, had the thing to go with it. My thumb was more or less over the button, and then I just closed it, set the phone down, didn't post it, kept the good thing to myself. And what came over me, sitting there, was relief. A real, physical loosening, like I'd stepped back from an edge I hadn't noticed I was standing on. For a long time, I'd have told you exactly what that relief meant. It meant I'd grown out of needing to be seen. I'd reached the point where the good thing was enough on its own, where I didn't need anyone to know about it for it to count. I was proud of that relief, honestly. I read it as a kind of arrival. But that night, for whatever reason, I actually sat with the feeling instead of congratulating myself on it. And underneath the relief there was something else, quieter, that I didn't like as much. And I couldn't tell, sitting there in the quiet, whether what I'd just done was the confident thing I'd always assumed, or something else entirely, wearing the confident thing's face. Maybe you know this too. Maybe you've gone quiet, stopped posting, stopped sharing your life, quietly disappeared from the places you used to show up, and told yourself a clean story about why. I'm Daniel. And here's the thing I finally understood, the thing this whole video turns on. Two people can go completely silent in exactly the same way. Same empty feed, same disappearance, same quiet, and mean the total opposite by it. One went quiet because they finally don't need to be seen. The other went quiet because being seen got too dangerous to risk. From the outside, you cannot tell them apart. And the harder part, the part nobody says, a lot of the time, you can't tell from the inside either. I couldn't always tell about myself. Let me show you what I mean. Picture two rooms, both with the door shut, both perfectly quiet. From the hallway they are identical. Same closed door, same stillness behind it. In one of them, someone is resting. They shut the door because they wanted the quiet, and behind it they're at peace, and the closed door is the sign of a person who has everything they need and isn't waiting on anything. In the other, someone is braced. They shut the door because they couldn't take one more knock, and behind it they're rigid, listening, waiting for the sound that means they've been found. The closed door is the sign of a person hiding. Same door, same quiet, opposite lives behind them. And you're out in the hallway, and you genuinely cannot tell which room is which. That's the whole problem, and I'm going to walk you through it one pair at a time, because every reason a person goes quiet has a twin that looks exactly like it. The first pair is the easiest to get wrong. It looks like not caring. When someone stops posting, the simplest read is that they just don't care about it anymore. It stopped mattering to them. They've got better things to do than curate a feed. And sometimes that's exactly right. Some people go quiet out of pure indifference, the way you stop doing anything you've genuinely lost interest in. But here's the twin. Some of the people who went quiet didn't stop caring. They cared enormously. They cared so much for so long about how it landed and who saw it and what it said about them, that the caring wore all the way through. What looks like indifference from outside is sometimes its exact opposite on the inside. A person who cared themselves into exhaustion and finally went quiet because they had nothing left to care with. The indifferent person and the burned-out person post the same amount, which is nothing at all. You can't tell caring too little from cared until empty by looking at an empty feed. The second pair is the one people are proudest of. It looks like privacy. This is the respectable reason, the one you can say out loud. I value my privacy. I don't need my life to be public. And it's a good reason. Some people go quiet simply because they've decided their life belongs to them, and that's a clean, whole thing to feel. But privacy has a twin, and the twin is avoidance, and they are almost impossible to tell apart. Privacy protects something good. It keeps your peace yours, guards the life you're happy living from becoming a thing you perform. Avoidance protects against something bad. It keeps you out of range of judgment, keeps anyone from having the chance to think less of you. One is a door closed around something you're protecting. The other is a door closed against something you're afraid of. From the hallway, both are just a person who keeps their life to themselves. The word private covers them both perfectly, which is exactly why it's such a comfortable place to hide. The third pair is the center of the whole thing. It's confidence and fear, and they produce the identical silence. Listen to these two sentences. I don't need everyone to know. And I don't want everyone to judge me. Say them to yourself. The first is confidence, a person who's secure enough that being unseen costs them nothing. The second is fear, a person who's learned that being seen is where the danger comes from. They are opposite conditions. One is fullness, one is a wound, and they make the exact same empty feed. The confident person and the frightened person are both just quiet. Neither posts, neither explains. And the frightened one, this is the cruel part, often reaches for the confident one's words to describe themselves, because I don't need to be seen is so much better to live inside than I'm afraid to be. I know, because I did it. That relief I felt setting down the phone, I called it, I've outgrown needing this, which is the confident sentence, and I'm not sure even now that it wasn't sometimes the frightened one wearing that sentence like a coat. The fourth pair is the quietest, and it's about the whole way a person lives, not just what they post. You've heard the good version because it's true and it's lovely. Some people stopped filming their lives so they could actually live them. They put the phone down at the dinner, at the view, at the moment, because they finally understood that turning it into something to show was stealing it from being something to have. That's real. I've watched people do it and become more present for it. But there's the twin again. Some people stopped showing their lives not because showing it stole the moment, but because showing it started to hurt. Because somewhere in there, putting their life out to be looked at stopped feeling like sharing and started feeling like exposure. So they stopped. And the unposted sunset looks precisely the same whether you didn't photograph it because you were fully in it, or didn't photograph it because you couldn't bear one more thing of yours being seen and measured. Same sunset unshared, presence and withdrawal, wearing the same evening. So here's where it turned, for me, into something harder than an observation about other people. Everything I've just said is about not being able to read the reason off the behavior from the outside. 2 rooms, same door, can't tell from the hallway. That's the title's promise, and it's true. But I told you there was a second memory, and this is it. And it's the one that actually cost me something. There was a stretch a few years back where I went quiet, really quiet, pulled back from everywhere I used to show up. And I had my clean story ready, the confident one. I'd outgrown it. I didn't need the audience. I'd matured past the wanting to be seen. I told that story to other people. I told it to myself most of all. And it wasn't true, or it wasn't the whole of it. Because when I'm honest about that stretch, I can see now what was actually underneath it. I'd taken a couple of knocks around then, been seen in a way that went badly, been judged, and had it land hard. And I went quiet the way you pull your hand back from something hot. It was the frightened room. I was braced behind that door, not resting behind it. And I stood in that braced room and described it to anyone who asked as the restful one, not even lying exactly. I genuinely couldn't tell. The two feel that close from the inside. That's the reversal, and it's the thing none of the flattering versions of this will tell you. You can't read the reason off the behavior, not from the outside, and not, a lot of the time, off your own behavior either. The person best positioned to know why you went quiet is you, and even you are often standing in the hallway, looking at your own shut door, unable to say for sure which room you're in. So here's what I've come to, and I'm not going to wrap it up cleanly, because it doesn't wrap up cleanly, and I'd be doing the flattering thing if I pretended it did. There isn't a way to make sure you're the confident kind of quiet. That's what I wanted when I first understood all this. I wanted a way to check the box, to confirm I was the rested one and not the braced one. There is no such check. The two silences are the same silence, and the only instrument that can tell them apart is your own honesty. And your own honesty is exactly the thing that goes soft when the truth is unflattering. What you get, if you're willing to do the harder thing, isn't the good version of the quiet. It's just the end of being able to lie to yourself comfortably about which one you're in. You can catch yourself in the moment you go silent and ask, plainly, without reaching for the nice sentence, is this rest or is this hiding tonight? And sometimes the honest answer will be hiding, and knowing that won't stop you. There are nights I catch myself going quiet to hide, and I know exactly what I'm doing, and I do it anyway. That's the cost. Awareness here isn't a cure. It doesn't hand you the confident silence. It just takes away the comfortable story and leaves you standing in your own hallway, finally telling yourself the truth about which door you just closed, and not always liking it. I'll leave you with this. When someone goes quiet, you're looking at a closed door, and you cannot see which room is behind it, the one where a person is finally at peace, or the one where a person is bracing against the next knock. They look identical. They are identical from where you stand. And the strangest part, the part I'd most want you to take with you, is that when the quiet one is you, you're often standing in that same hallway too, looking at your own shut door, honestly unsure which side of it you're really on. Tell me in the comments, when you've gone quiet, have you ever been sure which kind it was? The kind that's rest or the kind that's hiding? I'd like to know. I'm not always sure myself. And if you want to sit with me again, subscribe. I'll be here. I'm Daniel. I'll see you in the late hours.